I am a virus. Chapter 3, The Virus in Chinese Culture. 8. The corruption from the top down. In the previous article, I discussed the absurdity of the People's Republic of China flag. As a Chinese citizen, I find the name of our country equally embarrassing. There are only 2 countries in the world that include the term people in their official names, and one of them is the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Every time I see Kim Jong-un, a bloated man with no self-discipline, and look at the malnourished soldiers and citizens of North Korea parading on their National Day, I am reminded of a line from Douglas's 1854 speech, The Slave's Song, which goes, "As long as one is enslaved, no one is free." Kennedy also quoted this line in his speech in Berlin on June 25, 1963. For the sake of the Kim family's greed, tens of millions of North Koreans are controlled by one family, living in constant fear and facing famine after decades of oppression. It is a humiliation to human civilization, and the very existence of Kim Jong-un is an insult to all of humanity. The Chinese Communist Party should be held almost entirely responsible for this. Without the protection of the CCP, the Kim family's rule could not have survived. This reflects how both regimes have never truly considered the people, only their own self-interests. China has an old saying, "The name must be proper for words to be right, words must be right for things to succeed." 70 years ago, the Communist Party manipulated the name of the country by inserting people and republic into its official title to show its purported connection to the people. This is a reflection of Chinese culture's emphasis on names over substance and effort to deceive the public and win their loyalty. Sadly, this worked, and the public was duped. Today, after 70 years of actual autocratic rule, the so-called People's Republic is evidently a joke in the West. Even in China, very few people still take the people or republic seriously. A true republic has a parliament or congress, but here we have the National People's Congress (NPC) and the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference (CPPCC). Chinese people know that NPC representatives are not elected by the people, they are merely window dressing, or voting machines. The CPPCC, in essence, functions as a retirement home for retired officials. In the West, democratic governments are based on the separation of powers, while China practices political consultation and democratic centralism. To me, these institutions are mere facades meant to placate both domestic and foreign audiences. The CCP may be accused of autocracy, but they can always point to these institutions and claim, "We have what you have," while privately doing as they please. I feel that discussing the Communist Party's deception is a waste of time. The real focus of this article is to analyze the damage caused by a country whose system is based on a fraudulent lie. In China, there is another proverb, "If the upper beam is not straight, the lower beam will be crooked." A nation built on a falsehood cannot expect its society to foster virtues like honesty. The Communist Party, which gained power through lies and bloody violence, has continued to reap rewards since 1978 by controlling the state machinery and social resources. As a result, telling lies became the most effective way to maximize personal gain. This has, over the years, become the ultimate lesson for every Chinese citizen. Conversely, speaking the truth could come at a tremendous cost, and this lesson has been passed down to the nation. In China, parents often tell their children to tell the truth at home, but to never be too honest once they enter society. Honesty here means speaking the truth, which is discouraged in the wider world. For years, there has been much discussion about the lack of morality and trust in Chinese society. Everyone is aware of the dire situation, and most are deeply affected by it, hoping for a solution. Over the past few years, it seems that Chinese people have reached a consensus on the need to establish a trustworthy system and have found a breakthrough. Many Chinese are eager to make money, and for many, financial success has become a life goal. Since trust is the cornerstone of modern market economies, companies like Alibaba have promoted the creation of a credit system, claiming that credit will be the pass in the future business era. As such, people began to realize the importance of building personal credit. This is a good start, but unfortunately, it is an approach that misses the bigger picture. A functioning social trust system requires the participation of all sectors of society, including the government. However, when the government itself, which controls vast social resources, lies on fundamental matters, its involvement can only harm the trust system. If the government leads or dominates these efforts, it could lead to severe distortions and even greater damage. Since Xi Jinping assumed power, his crude and forceful governance style has had a cascading effect, causing the entire bureaucratic system to become more simplistic and brutal. Deception and corruption are rampant within the system, and the moral and integrity structures within the bureaucracy have long since collapsed. However, whether the ruling authorities are aware of this crisis is unclear. They appear to believe that technology will strengthen the authoritarian regime, that they can create an omnipotent government, but they are mistaken. The cracks are everywhere. Space for civil society is shrinking, and the whole society is suffocating. The outbreak and spread of the Wuhan coronavirus was a clear sign of the collapse of China's social structure. When the pandemic hit, the government mobilized the entire country, attempting to show off the power of the state-run system. Surprisingly, it garnered applause, but this is a misplacement of priorities and logic. In a transparent and functioning society, the likelihood of such a virus would be much lower, and it certainly wouldn't have spread so absurdly, harming not only China but the whole world. To summarize, a society is like a natural ecosystem. If there is a species or power that has no natural enemies or restrictions, forget about building a system of integrity. Collapse and destruction are only a matter of time.